All right, so you guys know I like to respond to emails and comments and things that tend to, kind of fuel my channel so I know what to make and I get an idea of what people want to see. And usually I get it, well, wrong. I don't know, I guess content here kind of sucks. Even if the comments seem to be a little bit trolly, if you guys can learn something from the video, then heck, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll respond to the trolls. But anyway, let's be honest here. What we're about to try today could go very, very wrong. And I don't want it to, but it could. But I kind of want it to because then it would probably get more views. But anyway, I digress. So believe me when I say that you really don't want to try this at home. And if you do, and you mess up your stuff, that's on you, not me. You've been warned. I'm a professional. Professional noob. Do you like custom keyboards and programming? Well, I have some good news for you because the good folks over at Massdrop have a long-term drop going for the ErgoDox ergonomic keyboard kit, available in various switch types and is 100% custom programmable. The drop is active right now and will run until May 22nd with an expected ship date of August 25th. Sound cool? Well, you know what to do. Check out the link down in the description. So in my last video, which you guys can see right here if you haven't seen it yet, if you've already seen it, you're awesome. Watch it again because that'll make you more awesome. I installed the water blocks on the three 980 Ti's that are being installed inside of Project Red Mist. And you guys had a lot of interesting things to say, obviously, about that video, which is fine, which is good. But I think one of the most resounding things people had to say was something along the lines of,
"Damn, bro, thermal paste much?"
I mean, seriously, there were a lot of those comments. Now, several years back, Logan at Tech Syndicate did a how to apply thermal paste video. In fact, I even did one when I first started YouTube. There are tons and tons of how to apply thermal paste videos, and most recently, Luke over at Linus Tech Tips also did a video where he showed the different styles and did back-to-back comparisons to see if they made any sort of real difference. And the only conclusion that could be drawn was the only thing that matters mostly is whether or not you have too little. Too much doesn't hurt your cooling. It could hurt your motherboard components, you know, if you were to take a conductive thermal paste and spread it out and start touching capacitors and other diodes and solder points and shit. But for the most part, it doesn't hurt your cooling. Now, the common thread all of those videos, including my old one, have in common is the fact that they're talking about CPU thermal paste. And obviously, you don't want to spread that too far over the edge of the actual heat spreader because then it could get down into your socket, which is going to lead to a very bad day. So that got me thinking we should really visit this topic when it comes to GPUs, but with a JayzTwoCents twist. Now, you may have noticed I had a benchmark running behind me the entire time I've been doing this video. In fact, it's been running for over a half hour right now. It's a GTX 680 EVGA. I believe it's a for the win card. It's actually the 6-pin and the 8-pin, not the 6 and 6. Anyway, I digress. It's been running for a while now so we can get our baseline temperatures to see how well the card is actually cooling in its stock form with its blower cooler, as you can see right there. And it is running right now at 76 C. Bouncing between 76 and 77. It's been running for a half hour. It's not getting any hotter than that. So with that baseline out of the way, let's take the card off. Let's take it apart, and let's have some science time. It's kind of like Science Week in January, but in April. Okay, so I'm going to revise that a little bit. The absolute max temperature, at least according to Precision, was 78, and that's where it kind of like bink. Every now and then they go bink, 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 like kind of pop up in there. Yeah, 78. So we're gonna see if it gets any worse than that, I guess.
Transition.
Now, I think one of the most alarming things I read in my recent comments was the amount of people saying, with the amount of thermal paste he used, it's gonna squeeze over to the sides and it's gonna touch the side of the GPU pins and stuff, and it's gonna totally short it out. And the reason why that concerns me is I think the people saying that I've pretty much never taken a GPU apart. Otherwise, they would realize that that's exactly how it is from the factory. Oh my God, the paste is touching all those pins. Now, in theory, that should be good enough to prove my point that touching the little solder points around this GPU core like that is not going to be a problem. Although this is a JayzTwoCents video, and so I am going to do all sorts of things that are going to make you cringe. Well, again, for the sake of science, why not? Holy hell, my fingers are dirty even. I'm touching them. I'm touching it. Oh, I'm touching the VRMs. Oh, crap. Oh, man, I've certainly killed this board now, huh? Look, I'm even flexing the board. Look at that. Ooh, look at that. I'm flexing it. Look, it flexes. It's a flexy board. Ooh, wobble, wobble. So I'm going to do the exact same kind of an X with a cross method that I did in the video that you guys were complaining about. Because remember, this is exactly the way that EK recommends that this go on with their blocks. And yeah, that looks like a lot of paste, right? Holy hell. Oh, that is so much paste. No, I just spit somewhere. Yeah, I just spit on there. There, that looks pretty good. This is a JayzTwoCents video, so, you just gotta go all out. Yeah, get in there. Oh yeah, get nice in there. Get in there. Oh boy, yeah. I missed a spot. I missed a spot there too. Oh man, I certainly killed this card now, huh? Yeah, what the hell? Look at that. Oh man. Are you cringing yet? Don't forget to plug in your fan when reassembling your cards, kids. Yeah, I say kids, I know who's watching this video. I know who's watching right now. Even the birds are pissed off. The birds are like, what the fuck? Jay, why did you do that? Well. Uh-oh. Oh, whew. Oh, thank God. I was about to be like, crap, I fucked up. You know what's funny about that? That 29C idle on the graphics card? That went down 3 degrees. That went down 3 degrees from when I started this test. That's funny. Let's do some Haven. All right, we got the good old Heaven test running. Same exact test we used last time. So let's let this thing run for a little bit and see what happens. So far, we're sitting at 48C, 49. It takes a little bit for the 680 to cool or to warm up. That Kepler though, man. Kepler for the win. All right, it's been running for a while now, and I know people aren't gonna believe me, but it came down. It came down in temperature compared to before. It's at 74C, so let's go ahead and let's quit out of Heaven and let's see what, max temperature, 75. You see that right there? Max temp, 75. Mofos, it came down 3 degrees Celsius. Now what? Okay, now I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit interested to see exactly how far the thermal paste spread out. Now there's a point to this whole video, so hang with me and we'll get there eventually. Oh, ew, it's so stringy.
That's what she said.
Well, it's pretty obvious that like every single square millimeter of that socket is covered in thermal paste. Now at this point, I'd like to have a serious chat here. Obviously, this was all theatrics and a bit excessive to prove a very basic point. As long as your compound is non-conductive, you're not going to cause any damage to the pins around the GPU. And the reason why you want to use what would probably be considered a liberal amount of thermal paste on your GPU is the fact that there is no heat spreader on the GPU. That is the cover of the die, which on CPUs, you have a heat cover or a heat spreader that will touch that to spread the heat out even more, which is why you can get away with the corners and stuff not necessarily being touched by thermal compounds on a CPU. But you can't get away with that as well on a GPU. I've had issues before where I've used too little paste and not gotten all the way to the edges and ended up having to take the entire water block apart and put more thermal paste on. So I personally tend to get a little bit liberal with that thermal paste because I want it to flow over the edge of the die and get as much coverage as possible. Now, obviously, I showed you even the OEMs, when they put these together, have excessive amounts of thermal paste that touches these little pins. So everyone in the comments that was screaming like, oh my God, the thermal compound is gonna be touching the pins and it's gonna short out your GPU and the world is gonna explode. That's only partially true if you are using a conductive thermal compound, which is a lot less today than it used to be. Like Arctic Silver used to be conductive. It's not anymore. But if you use the thermal compounds that are non-conductive and come with your GPU blocks, they are safe and you're not going to have any sort of an issue. Now, obviously, I don't recommend this. And obviously, I used my 680 because I was too chicken shit to try it with one of my 980 Ti's to prove the point. Because let's face it, there is always that slight chance something could go wrong. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope we proved a point. And let's face it, I know someone's probably already typed this before watching to the end of the video, which should teach you a lesson. Don't comment before the end of the video. I'm aware that the reason why the temperatures probably came down with all of this gunk on here is simply because it was new thermal compound, and given the fact that this graphics card is going on, what, 4 years old, or 3.5 years old, something like that, could have very well just been the fact that the other compound was hard and this is fresh and giving a better bond. But obviously I proved that too much doesn't affect that bond as much, does it? Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here now. Guys, check out my second channel. Link is in the description. It's my Cars and Vlogs channel. It's actually growing really fast. I'm really happy with that, where I do talk about Mizzy and work on the car and just vlogs and random stuff. But make sure you guys tune in next week where I show you the proper methods of how to use isopropyl alcohol to clean off the old thermal paste on your CPUs. Am I doing it right?